Hey guys, my name is Shay, aka Stitchopotamus here on YouTube, and this is my 22nd video. I'm probably wrong again. I was wrong last week. I think I said last week I was on the 22nd. It was actually the 21st, so that's what I'm basing this assumption on. I might be wrong again. I have ADHD and time doesn't matter, and I can't count either, so there's that. Always ironic to not be able to count when you do a hobby called counted cross stitch. But there you go. There you have it. That's what it is, and that's what it's going to be. This is a floss tube. We'll do all the normal floss tubey things, and for the first time in ages and eons, it seems, I have actually watched a floss tube. I enjoyed watching a floss tube. I did it at work while I was doing other homework. While I was doing work at work, typing stuff. I watched it, and I watched one of CrossStitch the Globe's floss tubes, one of the newer ones with both Allison and Stephanie, and I just really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. They have such cool projects. I really enjoyed it. I should do more often. Nothing really new about how I'm stitching. Nothing really new about how I'm stitching. Everything is about the same. I'm doing a slightly different. I'm starting to catch up on Starry Night by Urban Stitches, and every time I've done a catch up on it, because I've always been behind on it, every time I've done a catch up on it, I've done it differently, and so I'm doing what I think works best so far, and what I've enjoyed most so far. So I guess that's slightly different, but it's not like a new cross stitch method. It's just something like a different blend of cross stitch methods than I normally would, I guess is the best way of saying it. I have a start. Let's do stitch along news real quick. Sorry, lost track of what I was going to say. Let's do stitch along news right quick. So I think I showed you already the fabric for Twigs and Tea, I believe is what it's called, by Fine Frog. The frames released on Friday. So I'm hoping to get that started here. I'll probably take a break from Starry Night because I got a lot to catch up on anyways, and 2 years to do it, so it doesn't matter. It's a year and a half, I guess, at this point. I'll probably pause this and get that done because I know that if I keep up with Fine Frog, her releases tend to be small enough that I can keep up with it pretty easily, as long as I don't get super far behind. Then there's also three technically, and I'm going to have to look it up because I forgot to look it up. But there's technically 3 stitch-alongs that I've seen that I am interested in trying to do as well. So 2 of them I know for a fact I will. One of them I don't know that I will have actual time to do it, but I went ahead and bought it just because I wanted to make sure I supported the designer. A Misfit Forest cross-stitch along Sal for critters who don't belong, which I think is super cute. This is by TheCozyDHShop, which I bought one of their other ones, which I want to say was like a secret garden themed one, and they're super cute. They're not super big. I don't think it's this small, but they're not super big cross stitch patterns. So I might try to get into it and get it started. Ooh, there's actually 4 stitch along. Sorry guys. I'm chaos incarnate. It's fine. So this one's by CozyDHShop. I bought their last one as well, which I believe was Secret Garden. I never had time to actually start it, so this one I might be able to start because I just like the idea of misfit creatures. I think it's cute. There's Samhain Queen. I will put how you spell that. I'm saying it correctly, but I will put how you spell it just in case you're looking to find it. Samhain Queen by Witch's Garden Crafts, and I have the fabric for that here, which was my fabric of the month from Witch's Garden, so that's pretty exciting. That's starting in September. It should be on sale for people who aren't part of her Patreon, I'm assuming. You probably have to get it through her Patreon, to be honest, but you may not have to be subscribed. I'll have to go look, to be honest. But it goes on sale. It went on sale like a week ago, and you can probably. I didn't see it on her Etsy, so I think must be doing everything through her Patreon. I will put a little blurb if I'm wrong about that. But look at her Patreon. That's where you're most likely to find it. It's already on sale, and then it starts on September 1st, I think, is the first release. Sorry for the ramble on that, but that's true. And then I'm still waiting for more information on ToadSchool Terrorarium, which is very hard to say. ToadSchool Terrorarium by Noctiflora, there you go, Noctiflora Designs, I believe. That one, I think I talked a tiny bit about it last time. It looks like lots of, maybe some fungi, some glowing stuff is kind of the vibe I got. I don't know that you're going to use like glow in the dark threads, but it's probably going to be on a dark background, so everything looks like it's, you know, glowing. Very excited. I really enjoyed her Vampirum style. So last year, I think, is when I did that one. I don't know where I was about to go with that, but I lost track of that thought. I really enjoyed her Vampirum style. I showed it to y'all last week, so I'm very excited about Terrorarium, even though I'm going to have a really hard time saying that consistently correctly. And then the last one that I remembered mid-sentence is actually in CrossStitcher magazine, and it is a Little Books style. So I want to say it's called Little Library is what it's called. It's through CrossStitch the Globe is a YouTube channel, Flosstuber, through CrossStitcher magazine, and it looks like just kind of like full cover little book covers, right? And the first one I want to say was, it's probably Sacred Garden, actually, now that I think about it. I haven't started that one. It's going to be on a massive piece of fabric, so I have to make sure I have like a massive piece of white Ida, which I'm pretty sure I have, but I have to go look and I haven't done it yet. So that one started, the first release of that one was in this most recent month release of the magazine. I don't know why my voice sounds so gross, but it does. So I think that's all the stitch along news that I have as far as I have been aware of currently. I'm sure there's stuff that I just am not seeing because that's just the way it is, and I'm not putting a whole bunch of effort into being up to date anymore because I'm just tired and don't have time for it, to be honest. We'll start looking at works in progress, but the first thing I want to tell you is don't judge my masking tape. I did masking tape for a couple of these projects because I'm lazy and didn't want to stitch it, and one of them was unruly enough that it needed it. I don't even think stitching at this point would have, like a basting stitch around it would have helped this Ada, especially with how much it's going to be touched and manipulated. So I went ahead and just did masking tape as a quick, easy way of basting my edges, and don't judge me for it. Okay, thanks, bye. So this is my only start for this floss tube. This is Ghostly Gathering, I believe is what it's called. Yes, a Ghostly Gathering by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Oh, that was another style. There is another style that I meant to mention. Happy Holly is a Christmas style by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I'll get more info on that and decide if I'm going to do it or not. But I forgot about that one. That one is also part of this conversation, or the past conversation that we just had. Whatever. Whatever. So as you can see, this is my first project with the with the masking tape edges. That is because this is Witchelt linen, and it is so fragile. Like, it was just falling apart on me. You can actually, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's like a little thread that got left out. Aside from the fact that I don't really like the fabric that much, I really enjoyed doing this project. It was a lot of fun. I switched out the green skin on her face and on her hands for, let's say it was, I can't remember the DMC colors, but 2 DMC flesh tone colors, because witches don't have to have green skin. We talked about this last time. Aside from that, I really enjoyed it. I had to backstitch her face just because you couldn't see it because of the way that the white moon was behind it. But aside from that, I liked it. This was the only first pattern by Caterpillar Cross Stitch I've ever done, and the first kit from Caterpillar Cross Stitch I've ever done. It came really fast, considering it's coming from overseas, London, I believe, or England, I believe. I didn't particularly like the floss card that came with it. I don't normally, they just get too messy too quickly. And so I went ahead and just stuck it on one of my little like thread keeps. I don't have one close to me. I lie, I have one close to me. I just put it on my own little thread keep. It's not this one, obviously, because this only has 4 shades of gray. This is actually for little library, because I went ahead and de-stashed a couple, not de-stashed, but de-kitted a couple projects that I've had lying around for a while and haven't de-kitted. But I went ahead and de-kitted those, and so I know for a fact that little library is going to need these 4 colors, so I kept these out. But I went ahead and put the threads for this, cut them all, made sure they were all to the length I liked, and put them on their own little thread cube, so I wouldn't have to worry about it, because I don't like the card. All that to say, I didn't like the card. I put them on my own thread keep. Yep. This is up to date. Next one I think comes out in a couple weeks, a week, something like that. So far, not. I mean, it was a good bit of. It was a good chunk of stitches, but it wasn't hard to count, and so it went pretty quick. And there's not a lot of back stitching, except for the back stitching I made myself do. So up to date, Caterpillar cross stitch, Ghostly Gathering. This is Starry Night by Urban Stitches, and you haven't seen her in a while. She's been hiding because each one of these squares, like I've done these 2 squares over the course of the past, like over the course of today, but also a little bit of yesterday too. So they take a while. There's a lot of stitches per 30 stitch by 30 stitch, or 30 box by 30 box box. There's a lot of stitches, and it takes a long time, and there's a lot of colors. And so what I've decided to do, you can actually see that I've got some parked threads here. Parking does seem to work better if it is along this actual, like the line of the box. This box is done. This is week 12, I believe, and it's done. So if the color runs up against the second, like the edge that I'm going to continue on, then I'm parking it. So like for instance, this is 3838, this is 312, and this is 890. I only know that because they're really common colors in this pattern. And so what I've been doing is when you have this style, she sends, Urban Stitches sends a whole box with all the colors, right? So there's like all these different colors, yellows and greens and all that, and there's a key for it, right? There's 2 versions of that whole design, because sometimes those colors are really hard to tell apart. I used to use that. I used to just kind of base everything off of that, and I would try to do kind of parking as I went. I would complete a zone instead of doing color complete, which is what I tend to like generally. So all of that just made it really long and made me have to like tear out stitches all the time. And so what I've instead done is, if you scroll past that whole motif chart, right, or whole release chart, whatever you want to call it, there's each color on its own chart, which is so much easier to see, and has made it not a whole bunch faster, but faster in that I don't have to go through and tear out stitches that often. I had to tear out a little bit of stitches here just because I had it down one, but it was easy to do because I had it parked. So I just unparked it and it was fine. I actually ended up shredding that thread and had to get a new thread, but yeah, who cares? Like, no one's asking me about that. I shouldn't give you that information, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I guess whatever. It doesn't matter. So this is nowhere near caught up. The most recent release was week 25, and like I just said, I just finished week 12. It's so much fun to do. It just takes so much time, and I'm already so behind on so many things. Like I'm three releases behind on Quarter 9 Designs Burrow Tales. I'm 2 behind on Ghostbusters. I'm 2 behind on Book of the Garden, Poison Garden. I'm 2 behind on Extraordinary Birds again. It is what it is. I've just decided that as long as I'm getting something done, I can feel productive. And it's just going to be that way this year, I guess, until all the big projects I have, like all the big styles, finish up. But anyways, not anywhere near caught up. Starry Night by Urban Stitches. It is a Blackwork style, which is why it looks so different. And so each one of these, I'll have to like zoom in so you can see them. Each one of these make little stars in the pattern. And then they also make Starry Night by Van Gogh as well. So not anywhere near caught up at all, even a tiny bit. But maybe in the next couple weeks I'll get it finished and caught up. Sorry. Notification on my computer. Drove me nuts. Okay, this one's also not caught up because two more have released. This is Spooky Night? Spooky Night, I think, by Little Tiny Modernist. I think it's Spooky Night by Tiny Modernist. I'll double check that if I'm wrong. I'll have a little title, obviously. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. This is the first witch that I changed her skin because she doesn't need to be green. And I love this little cheesy jack-o'-lantern. I think he's super cute. I love this vase. It makes me think of like Hercules. There's like books and bottles here, and then there's something here. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But I love it. I love it. I love my little haunted house and all of its little like wrought iron details. It's just super cute. It is using, this is, I'm jumping from one conversation to another, not conversation, one factoid to another. This is 28 count even weave in Sage or Summer Khaki by Witchelt, I believe. And then with the exception of the black, all of the threads are in Forbidden Fiber Co thread colors, so they are subtly variegated. None of them are super, super heavy variegated, except for technically this light green, but you can't tell just because there's not enough of it in a spot to do it. So far, I'm loving it. It's really easy. This is, now that I'm using this fabric more, I kind of complained a little bit about it being really slick, but now that I'm using it more, it's not so, it's easier to handle. So Spooky Night. Why does that sound wrong though? It's Ghostly Gathering. I think it is a Spooky Night. I can't remember. It's meant to be like Vintage Halloween by Tiny Modernist, and it is not caught up. Actually, nothing I've done is caught up. Yay. But what I did do a lot of this time around, this 2-week period since I saw you last, I have caught up on a lot of the like weekly or daily sales that I have. So I caught up on the two, or as of beginning of the week, I was caught up on my 2 temperature sales, and then I caught up on my weekly Blackwork sales, except for this most recent release, obviously. This is my Fair Isle sale by Snarky and Modern Embroidery. Snarky and Modern Embroidery. This fabric is either Vintage Rose or Vintage Blush, and then the other one is the other one, I don't remember, by Forbidden Fiber Co. Both of these are Forbidden Fiber Co. linens. I want to say they're both 32 count linens, I believe. And this is caught up as of July 31st. And so, as you can see, we done got hot in San Antonio. It is very, very hot. Very, very hot. And I don't dig it. I'm done with it. Can we have winter now, please? Also, school's about to start next week, and I'm not looking forward to it. It is going to be hell. I drive by like 10 school zones to get to work in the morning, which means I'm going to have to wake up at like 5:45 to get there where I normally do. I'm not looking forward to that. Anyways, so it's hot. School's about to start. This is caught up as of a week ago, roughly, and I really have enjoyed doing it. This one I've also done a bit of a parking method where I'm not going to show you my backside because that's not fun. I don't want you to see my backside. That's why it's on the back. But I'm carrying the thread colors if I know that I'm only hopping like a couple days, because each one of these like days is only like 8-10 stitches, and so I'm carrying the thread across because it just makes things a lot easier and faster. And I don't know what's this. I don't know. Anyways, caught up as of last week. Vintage Rose or Vintage Blush fabric by Forbidden Fiber Co. This is by Snarky and Modern, and it is free. Now we're already, more than halfway through the year, so catching up is going to be difficult, but it is free. So if you ever wanted to do a temp style, you can get this for free on their Facebook group, which I'll have in the description. This is my other temp style. This is also caught up as of July 31st. This is tiny stitchery rather. It's just like the moon phase or lunar phase temperature style. And this one is the other fabric that I can't remember the name of. It's either like Vintage Rose or Vintage Blush. Also by Forbidden Fiber Co. Also in like a 32 count linen. And I like this one. I like this one a lot. I like how orderly and neat it is. It took me forever to realize that the moon is actually symbolized by the non-stitched part of this little circle. For the longest time, like for instance, I would have thought that this was a full moon, but this is actually a new moon. This one is a full moon. And then later I thought about it. I was like, it's not a new moon. And I looked at my watch because I have the moon phases on my watch. And it was like, oh, I'm thinking of it opposite. I have it not juxtaposed. Juxtaposed is the wrong word. I have it switched around in my head. Next time I do something like this, I will make the categories smaller, right? I will add more stitching colors, or make this, I will adjust the stitching colors based on what is actually normal for San Antonio. So this one here, you're looking at like 2 to 3 degree categories, right? So like, and I'm doing it by average. So like this one was like average of 80 something, right? 81 to 83 or something like that, 81 to 84, something like that. These ones, on the other hand, are every 10 degree category, right? So these are all, 80 degrees average. Well, the reality is if I'm using average, we're not going to get, we might get to 90 a couple days, which means we've had a really hot night. But we generally aren't going to get much past 80 something, in the average, for the average for the day. And so I want to make these categories at least like maybe 5 degree categories, so I have a bit more variation, a bit more gradient. But it's a lesson learned. It's the first time I've ever done this style. So next time I will know. Next time I will know. I'll probably do another style, like might even do 2 temperature styles. So I really do enjoy doing them. They're fun. They're fun. Not caught up to July 31st, just like the other one. I don't know why I'm suddenly getting so raspy and gross, but it is what it is. Nothing a little Whataburger can't fix. Okay. Make sure you can see. Yep. These are my 2 year-long Blackwork styles by Steady Thread. Both of these are free. You can get these on Facebook. Again, you're about over half the way through the year, but you can still catch up if you wanted to, right? So what I did last year is I did the 2 different types of like setups, if you want to think of it that way. Like there's a potted, there's a word for it, but there's a potted layout. There we go, layout, and then there was a geometric layout, right? Where mine had boxes, right? In this case, she did multiple different types of layouts, so you can pick out all kinds of layouts. And then there's 3 different motifs per week, right? So they're all connected to somewhat in theme, but they're laid out differently. So you have a circle one, you have a flower, and then you have a box or a square. And so I went ahead and did 2 of them. Both of these are on 28 count even weave by Witch's Garden Crafts. This one is Grail, and this one is Antique Daguerreotype. And they're using different threads. They're using fancy threads. So this one is using Medieval by Stitchy Stuff, I believe. And it's a variegated thread. And I figured it would look really good, and so far it does. There's some of them that I wish I had like strategized slightly different. And then this one is using, sorry, I had a thought, but then I lost it. Tis what it is. You don't come here for me to keep my thoughts. It's not the way that works, I guess. This is silk thread in gray by Dyeing for CrossStitch, I believe. I believe that's what they're called. Dyeing for CrossStitch, yes. Dyeing like D-Y-E-I-N-G. So the ones that I was 2.5 months behind. 2.5 months behind. So there were, I know this most recent one was 32. And then I think the one before, the one that I, like, the first one I had to start was 23. So 2, 1, 39, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So pretty much these 3 lines here on this one are all new. All 5 of these, and then all 5 of these. These ones were fun too. A lot of these were really interesting. Like, I liked the way this one looked. And I liked, what was the other one that I really enjoyed doing? I enjoyed this one, and then I think this was the other one that I really enjoyed doing, and these 4 right here. The other ones are great. They're not bad by any stretch, but they looked a bit messier with my, like, variegated thread, but they still look cute. They still look cute. So these 5 were all, or 10. That makes sense, yeah. 2.5 months, yeah. So 10. These 10 were all the new ones. Not caught up because there's one released yesterday. I'll try to keep up to date a bit more consistently on these, but no promises because these are easy to catch up on. Whereas some of the other stuff I had going on is not so easy to catch up on. This is my geometric version. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this one here, and then all the rest of these down here are all done. Again, this is on silk thread, or with silk thread on Antique Daguerreau type by Witch's Garden Crafts, and I really enjoyed it. This one might have been 1, 2. Yeah, I think this one was 1, 2. So there might have been 11. I just had to. There's probably 11. So all 5 of these, and then this one right here would have been the other one for this one. Sorry. Sometimes I look at it and I realize, oh no, I did that one too. That one looks familiar. That one looks fresh. So these 11 here, and they're a lot of fun. This one's I can pop out these circles a lot faster because they're not variegated, and so it's a little bit easier. But I really enjoy any kind of lattice work. Like, these ones are a lot of fun. I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. And it is not caught up, just like the other one is. So again, steady thread, year-long Blackwork sale, and you can get them for free on Facebook, which will also be down in my description. So, as you can see, I've done a lot of work, and just not a lot of different projects, which has become the theme, I think. We're going to do some stash, and then we'll be done, I think. So, this is the fabric for Samhain Queen. Again, this is how you spell Samhain. Samhain is a like ancient Irish pagan holiday. And it doesn't look like you spell it that way, but that's how you pronounce it. This is wheat, so there's 2 options, and if you're already in her Thread of the Month club, not Thread of the Month, Fabric of the Month club, which I am, you get one of those 2 options for your Fabric of the Month. I wonder if you'll get the other one too, or if that's one, like, if you just purchase it later. I don't remember how she said she was going to do that, but this is wheat. I usually get mine in 16 count Ada. I probably will switch over at some point in time to 28 count even weave because that is one of my favorite fabrics, period. But I love her Ada too. Her Ada is very soft. I will also be using her Ada for Twigs and Tea by Fine Frog. The fabric is called Tea Time. And if you got her Fabric of the Month, then this is all you'll need. You don't need anything bigger than this. This is a fat quarter, I believe. It's 13 by 18. It's a fat quarter. So, yep. That is wheat. It's a really interesting kind of olivey green. I love the modeling. Her modeling is always really interesting. And I think it's really pretty. And I love it. I'm very excited about Samhain Queen. Which is about, in case you are interested in it, it's about Calliope, who's like the goddess of like kind of the transition from like fall into winter, from harvest into winter. Calliope, and the cell again is called Samhain Queen. Samhain. tired all of a sudden, of course. And I've not done anything today. Love it. This is my fiber and thread, or fiber and fabric of the month from BeStitchMe. So I get the silks because I don't own a lot of silk, and I want to own more silk and use it eventually. Sometime I would like to be able to use it. But I like the way it feels, and yeah. So I get 7 10-yard skeins of silk floss, and I think they're just from her regular, or their regular like collection. I don't think they're like special made or like limited dyes or anything. So there's the Bay, Slushy, and Backyard Barbecue, which is a really interesting name because I get it. It's like brisket and salsa colored. Coffee Club, which is also appropriate. Siren, Field Mushroom, and then Star Spangled. Let's stick these in their bag so they don't get messed up. And then this is my fabric. I get it in 38 count, or 28 count Lugana. 28 count, 38 count would be wild. 28 count Lugana, which again is one of my favorite types of fabric and sizes of, or counts of fabric. This is I get the fabric of the month that switches from colorful to neutrals, back and forth. And so this is neutral month, and this is What the Hey. It's cute. It's cute. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. And then these are two things I actually bought a while ago, but I forgot that I bought. So this would have been my July, I'm pretty sure this is my July floss of the month and needle minder of the month from Nightstalker's Calling. And these ones were based off of Candyland, I believe. So yeah, definitely Candyland. I don't know if you can see that pretty well. But this is my little floss, or needle minder rather. And then we have Gumdrop Mountain, we have King Candy, and then we have Plumpy. And that is freaking pretty. That's really, really pretty. I like this one too. I like them all. But this is like up my alley. That's a color I like. So I'm pretty sure I bought these a while, or these arrived probably at the beginning of the month, but I had them in another room and forgot about them. So then this is from Forbidden Fiber Co. This is the, I forgot what it was actually called, but it's based off of Inside Out 2. I want to say it was called All the Feelings or something like that was the name of the mystery box, right? So there's To the Moon, which is the pattern, which is super cute. And the way that Forbidden Fiber Co. does it is you get your bag, you get all the Forbidden Fiber Co. flosses that you'll need. Normally they are dyed specifically for that pattern. You get the pattern. You get a little tiny, I'm going to have to pull it out because I'm not going to be able to see it. Little tiny needle minder, which has got the little bawling elephant. He's so cute. He's so cute. So there's that. And there, these are all of the colors. All of the colors, I can't talk. Which these are really pretty. I really like. They're pretty, pretty, nice and bright. Also, like a nice new black as well. And then Polar in 1/8 of a yard and 28 count Ugana for the fabric, which is this really pretty, like dreamy pink and purple model. Very cute. Very pretty. I love it a lot. I need to someday make time and energy for me to do them. For Forbidden Fiber Co. I also went ahead and bought the Sherlock Halloween mystery box. The mystery saw that they were doing for Advent. I bought that as well. And then I bought the next, because every year they do a Hobbit or Lord of the Rings inspired mystery box. So I bought that one for this year as well, which I believe is based off of Desolation of Smog. Huge nerd. You can actually see my Lord of the Rings books here. Oh yeah. like, oh, that's not enough of them. That's because the Lord of the Rings books are originally all released all together. They weren't separated out into 3 books. But that's all I got for you today. Sorry if I kind of like lost my groove there for a second and in the middle of everything. But I'm normally chaotic, so I guess it doesn't really matter, and it's not changing much, is it? Have a great day. Holler if you need me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!